Good morning, and welcome to Mystical Teachings from the Tanya. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from my home in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Let us say hello on this Erev Shabbos. Shalom Robert from Boston and Rick from the Chicago area. We have Sandy with us from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Erica, shalom to you in Norway. Good afternoon. And in Mexico, Jan, Boker Tov. Linda is with us from New York. Good Erev Shabbos. Tim from Texas. Boker Tov. Gail from Philadelphia. Good morning. And John, welcome to you in North Carolina. Heather, good morning to you in Norwalk, Connecticut. And Rita is with us from Boca Raton in Florida. Sarah Malka, thank you for joining in North Carolina. Who else do we have with us? We have Asmi from Russia, which must be late, almost Shabbos. Austin, we have with us Cindy. Good morning. And Teresa from Cincinnati. Good morning. Sigalit from New York. Angazilan. Oh boy, I'm sure I got that wrong. Not certain from where, but welcome. And our Dove Ben Usher from DC, District of Connecticut, Washington. Thank you for joining. Denise from New York and Silas from Brazil. All right, wonderful. All right, folks. We begin chapter 50, and actually we'll conclude it today, since it'll be concluded tomorrow on Shabbos. In this chapter, in one word, kirishbe, a fiery flame. In English, it's two. Till now, we've been speaking about a love of God that will lead us to change behavior, meaning that will lead us to think, talk, and do for God. Love prompts a person to do for another. And this kind of love is a love, shall we say, of the right side, which is chesed, from chachma that leads to chesed, kindness, loving kindness. That is the attribute of the Kohanim, the priestly clan that did the service in the Holy Temple. Metaphorically, it is like silver. Silver in Hebrew is kesef. Kesef means lichseif, to long. Long to connect to your source. That is a source that is within you, within your soul, to reveal the source of your connection within you to God in your soul. That's what the desire is. That's what the desired longing is to connect to that. There's another type of love, and it is on the left side, that comes from Bina, comes from an understanding that produces a rapturous love that is metaphorically like fire and also like gold. Just like gold is glitzy. It's not only got more value than silver, but it's glitzy. So likewise, this is a rapturous love of fire, and it is the type of love that is of the Levites as opposed to the Kohanim. The Levites, what did they do? They sang in the Holy Temple. And melody, song, is more rapturous, shall we say. The first type of love that we've been learning till now is more, even though we've used this metaphor before, but now, everything is, excuse me. It's called spring allergies. I wish it was a cold, because a cold comes and goes. Spring allergy stays long. But no, it's okay. So we've used this metaphor before of fire versus water. Fire is passion. Water is still, the still waters. Waters represent the natural love that we have, like between a parent and a child. It's there. It's not passionate. Shouldn't be. Husband and wife relationship, should be passionate. There has to be passion in it. That makes it distinct. If it was just like still waters and it'd be just natural, then it'd be like, best friends. And that's an important thing, element in a husband-wife relationship. Sure, best friends, but it's not sufficient. There needs to be the fire. Now, that's all a metaphor for this to understand that here when we're speaking about this unique kind of fiery love, so this is coming more from within the person to create it, as opposed to the fiery love of the left side, bina that comes into gvura, understanding that comes into gvura, strength, like a strong fire. And again, this is the concept of the Levites that have a rapturous melody that they sing that has the highs and the lows. So, the Alter Rebbe explains, this comes from understanding how God is before him. There's nothing but him. Now, in understanding God, there's different things we can understand. We can understand the way God is found within the world. So that means there is a world, but the true reality of the world is God's presence. You see a beautiful garden. It's a garden. God's presence is clear there to us. That means there's something, but that something is godly. That's not what we're talking about here. Talking about here and understanding, and there's a very lofty level. I'm not there. We're not there. And that's why it's chapter 50, okay? It's chapter 50. Is an understanding of God that there is kulei kamei kalei chshib, that everything before him is not. There's nothing but him. Complete nullification of sense of that. When a person has a full understanding that's bina, will or can lead, and in this instance, as the Alter Rebbe explains to us, to this fiery, passionate love, rapturous love that leads the person to become lovesick for God. Lovesick. That's all you want, is to be enveloped in that nothingness of God to such a degree, lovesick for God, that you're ready, that the soul is ready to depart. That's called kalois hanefesh, the expiry of the soul. So profound is this desire. And what keeps you here then? So this love does not bring you to, as in the other types of love, brings you to do for God. Here, this brings your soul to expire. Only indirectly will it bring you back to this world. And that's only because you understand that that's what God wants from you. So you're kind of brought back to, 2 feet on the ground. And this is the idea that it says, against your will, you will die. So the simple meaning means, we don't choose when we die. God's going to choose that. That's simple meaning. Deeper meaning that in this context, against your will, you will have an experience of kalesa nefesh, of expiry of the soul. That the soul is so raptured in its understanding and leading to a passionate, fiery heart that your soul is ready to expire. The soul that is metaphorically the flame on the wick is about to leave the wick. And what happens when the fire leaves the wick? It goes into nothingness. Except then you're reminded of the other teaching of the Mishnah, of the ethics of our fathers. It says, against your will, you live. Against your will, you're born. Against your will, you live. Meaning, you have to come back to live. You have to come back from that rapturous love that the soul just wants to expire and come back to the sure-footedness in the material world and to do Torah mitzvahs in this world, to fulfill the divine purpose of making a dwelling place for God in this world. Is this what Denise is asking? Is this what happened to Aaron's sons? Yeah, only part of it, the first part. Their soul was so enraptured that their souls actually left. They didn't return. They didn't bring their soul back down to, against your will, you will live. Against your will, you will live. So on this is, it's almost like a yo-yo. Against your soul, you will die. Meaning, you're going to be so privy and aware of the nothingness of everything and that there's just but God, that your soul is ready to leave the wick with this rapturous love of God. When you reach there, against your will, you will live. You come back down. This is the ultimate, chapter 50, the ultimate in love. And that's why it's the gold standard. Because you're reaching to the pinnacle of spirituality against your will, so to speak, right? And then against your will, when you reach there, come back down to this world. Engage in simple material things, whether it's making a living, whether it's making a blessing on your food. No. So it's like back and forth. Wherever you are, oh, no, you ain't staying there. Against your will. You're going back up. Oh, you're there. Against your will. Come back down. Back and forth. That is a very lofty level to be able to achieve. But the notion of it is a very powerful idea. There's a story with the Alter Rebbe himself. When he first came to the Maggid, his Rebbe, the successor of the Baal Shem Tov was the Maggid of Mezerich, Dov Ber, Rabbi Dov Ber of Mezerich. And when he came, he was given his son, Avram, called Avram the Malach. Avram the Malach, Abraham the angel, because he was more in heaven than he was on earth. And they learned together. The Alter Rebbe used to steal from him time. He used to put back because they were supposed to study the Talmud after their study of Hasidus. To learn more Hasidus, because that was something new to him. Talmud, he was already, so he wanted to learn more of it. So he put back the clock. He stole time. We should be such thieves. Steal time from business to study Torah. Steal time from whatever to do a mitzvah. In any case, once they were learning, and they were so rapturous in the study that their souls, both of them, were about to leave. And we're talking about, he was probably not even 20 years old. Not even 20 years old. The Alter Rebbe, we're talking about a soul that was a new soul that never entered the world before and was just, and once a soul that comes in, whatever, hundreds of years. And literally their soul was about to leave. Then they gathered themselves and did. They ate a bagel with butter to bring them back down to earth from that rapturous love. Now, we're learning this. It's an abstract idea. Yes, Heather, thank you. I hope it's clear, the abstract idea. Now, I doubt we have such experiences in our lives in the way the Alter Rebbe is explaining it. We may have some form of this, and that form would be that when we're feeling that moment of like, wow, and we're able to get out of that wow and do what you got to do and kind of spill cold water over yourself, right? The calm waters that you spill over yourself, and just come back down to do what you got to do. It may not be full of passion. It may not be full of that vigor that you were just experiencing and exaltedness, but you come back to do what you do. And then you kind of might be doing what you're doing, but you're losing. You got to bring that back. So how do we do that? Every day we have an experience. Hope we have this experience every day when we study Torah, when we daven. An inkling of it at least, that there is some kind of inspiration, right? But then that inspiration, we can't live off inspiration. We have to bring it into deed, into action. So it's back and forth. It's wonderful to lead an inspired life, but that inspired life has to bring about, doing something. Not just about feeling. So the feeling is there, but the feeling needs then to bring you to live, or to do, rather, for God. Okay. I missed somebody? Vilma from Kansas, thank you for joining in. David and Bachia, Tanya, Andrea, Karen from Miami, hello. Heather from Connecticut. Does this apply to reincarnation? Linda is asking. I'm not clear what that question means. Oh, the broadcast is freezing. Oh no, that's terrible. I hope for others. Let me know. Vilma, this rapturous state requires uninterrupted study. In the kind of state, it is possible to lose track of time. Yes. It can be acted to for God. Very good, Vilma. Yes. So hopefully when we're learning Tanya together, we reach something like that in our understanding, because this, remember, it's coming from an understanding about God. And when we have that understanding, that it brings us to a rapture, that feeling of like, that state of like leaving oneself. That's what we're talking about. Powerful. Tanya from Portland, Oregon, thank you for joining. Vav Yud, shalom. From Canada, all right. From Peru, Rosia, if I got that right, welcome. Susan from Illinois. Annie, well, you're also, Sarmalka, your broadcast is good. Okay, so maybe it's on your end. Rita, who made this simple but beautiful heart? God made our heart. And Devorah from LA. Okay, folks, wishing everybody a wonderful Shabbos. Please, sharing is caring. Share the Alter Rebbe's teachings with others. And next week, we're going to finish the first book of Tanya. Exciting. Okay. God willing, we're actually working on our internet over here that it'll be a stronger, and therefore stronger, so it'll be a better broadcast. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from my home in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a good day, a good Erev Shabbos, and a wonderful Shabbos.